Amelia, I'm so fun you're coming. Such a pleasure to have you here with us on the red carpet. Maybe for people who don't know anything about Young Women in the Sea, can you introduce it a bit for us? What can people expect when they watch it?
Young Women in the Sea is a film about Trudy Edderly, who's the first woman to swim the English Channel.
And what I understand it's been quite a passion project for quite a few people involved. At what point did you jump on board, and why is this story so appealing to you?
I think I think people are really passionate about it because it's a true story, and I think she's almost kind of slightly been forgotten in time. This incredible woman and what she achieved. So I think everybody felt this real duty, I suppose, to tell her story and to kind of do her justice. And yeah, that was my main, I guess, inspiration, was always thinking about Trudy and the real woman and the fact that she did this, and trying to make the story as exciting as possible.
And what's your starting point when you're working on the soundtrack? Because I guess you could either start from the script. Did you do your own research? I was also reading that Yersky and Fendrix, for example, with Poor Things, did the music completely separately without even seeing the film. So how did your process work in relation to the film?
So I read the script and just fell in love with the story, and kind of that's where I kind of got my initial ideas. And then they went off and they shot the film, and then they came back, and I kind of started to see some footage, and kind of started writing while they were editing. But yeah, I mean, that's fascinating. I think I would find it really hard to write without seeing, and also because the film changes so much from the script to actually what ends up being shot, and then what's end up being kind of cut. So there are so many different incarnations, I suppose, of the film. But yeah, I was writing the kind of initial themes quite early, I think,
And what informed the music that you ended up with? I guess it's the period, like the sort of roaring 20s, but then also the emotional journey that Trudy goes on.
Yeah, I think I probably was less informed by the period, and I think I probably started in a place of thinking more about that, and then as the process went on, it just became apparent that wasn't really going to work, and that Trudy kind of needed something more contemporary and something that had like more breadth. And I think she was quite forward-thinking and quite modern, so I think we ended up with quite a kind of contemporary score. But I definitely, the initial inspiration for me was thinking about the emotion of her and her family, and where they'd come from, and her relationship with her sister and her mother, and the fact that she didn't quite fit in, and she had this, and just her self-belief, and just wanting, I felt like there was so much emotion in the story, and so I really wanted to find music and a theme that could really convey that level of emotion.
Seeing Daisy's absolutely phenomenal performance, and I guess the commitment to a role like this, the physicality of it as well as the emotional side. And what was it like seeing that up close?
Well, I was just so impressed with everything she did. I mean, I just thought she was incredible, and her swimming was unbelievably beautiful and amazing. They ended up just using her, more than using the double, because her swimming she was just so impressive. I was really, her performance was just incredible, and I think she had such a honesty in her performance that I really responded to, and it was kind of a joy to write for her.
Even more impressive, and I think she was actually afraid of the water before she started doing this.
I know. I mean, it's just crazy. It really is so amazing to kind of face your fear in that way. And she just, you don't question it with her. Like, she just sells it so beautifully.
And in terms of what people can take away, I mean, I guess it's important to go back and retell these stories from history that have been forgotten. But there's also something quite universal about just the resilience. But also sometimes it does take your family, your relationships, for one person to achieve something. I think I quite like the way they bring that element into it, that anything you achieve usually isn't completely by yourself either.
Totally. And I think it's also really important to kind of, she didn't do it the first time. And I think it's also that thing about like believing in yourself and being allowed to fail, and people still believing in you. And I think it's that real underdog story, of just like that self-belief and how powerful that can be. And no matter how many people tell you it's not possible, you can't do this, no one's done it before, or whatever it is, it's just like having the courage, I suppose, to actually do something unexpected. And I think that, I love that about the film. I think it's really inspirational.
100%. And very quickly, do you know what you're working on next? Have you got your next project underway?
No, I don't know actually. Not sure.
Anything that you've got on your bucket list that you'd love to do, a director you want to work with, or a particular kind of genre you'd like to try?
I mean, I'm just like open to all of it. It's very much like I really just, there are so many different things I want to do and try, and it's all really about the people involved and like that collaboration with the filmmakers and meeting those people and jumping into it. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your time. Really enjoyed the evening. Thank you. Lovely to chat to you. Cheers.